Are you moving soon? Are you feeling lots of overwhelm and stress from the fact that you are going to be moving soon? Well, in this video, I'm going to help you get some strategies together to make moving a little less stressful for you. Hey y'all, I'm Kimberly from Simply Organizing Life. In today's video, I'm going to focus on trying to give you some tips and strategies to make moving, which is normally super stressful, a little less so. And just as a side note, this is my second time filming this video. That is how dedicated I am to getting this information out to you today. One of the first and biggest things that you can do to help yourself is to start early. If you have your house up for sale or you know you're moving, then start as soon as possible. There are so many things you can do even when you're not confident 100% that you are even moving. If you are in the stage of, maybe my house is under contract, but maybe it'll go through, maybe it won't. I'm nervous about if I'm moving into it or out of it or what have you. That's stressful. But there are things you can do that can minimize it on the side that you're at. Not necessarily changing the unknown, because we can't control that, but you can control quite a bit of things. And one of them is to get a plan together early. Start thinking about what supplies you need to move. Start thinking about decluttering. Do you really need to move things that you've been having in the house for ages that you don't touch? For instance, I moved a treadmill recently. I've moved my treadmill twice, actually. And the treadmill required a lot of effort to be moved. Into this house, it required an interior door to be taken off the hinge, as well as a closet door, just to get it into the location that I wanted it. That's a lot of effort. If you don't use the treadmill, why are you putting the effort in? It's as simple as that. So start thinking about those items in your house that you can take actions on now. Whether you, for instance, if it's a treadmill, more likely you're going to try to sell it. If it's just other stuff, decor around the house that you don't like, maybe you'll donate it instead. But also start thinking about decluttering things like paper. There's a lot of paper in a lot of houses that maybe you can start scanning it. Maybe you can start going through it and see if you even need to keep it. Because you know what? Here's a little secret. Paper weighs a lot. And that can be very heavy to move, especially if you don't need to. So start thinking about decluttering some of your paperwork. Another thing, books. Books are also paper, but those suckers are heavy. So there's a reason why they say some of the small boxes should be your book boxes. Because when you put a whole bunch of books in the same box, even if they're paperback, they add up in weight. But are you using them? Are you looking at them? Are you reading them? Are you referring to them? Have you moved more to Kindle or to ebooks in general? Do you get more from the library as opposed to own things? Whatever you do, consider decluttering some of that. What about your CD or DVD collection? Do people still have those? I definitely got rid of my CD collection a while back, but more recently with the bigger move that I did, I got rid of DVDs. I have streaming services. If I want to listen to a particular song, I'm gonna go on my phone or my computer and play it there. I'm not gonna go rifle through CDs to go play a CD. I don't even have a CD player. Yeah, I have nothing in my office or house that will play CDs, except maybe the DVD player. I don't even know why I still have the DVD player at this point, because I don't watch DVDs. I don't have DVDs. I got rid of a whole bunch of them. As I said, have streaming services. I did give myself permission when I got rid of the DVDs. In order to get rid of the DVDs, I was willing to purchase one if I could not find it on one of my streaming services when I wanted to watch it. It hasn't happened yet. Think about things like that. Another category to think about decluttering. What about clothing? Does everything in your closet still fit? Is everything currently in style and that you wear? Yes, styles come back around. However, not necessarily something you should still be holding on to. I realize that platform shoes are coming back from the 90s. It's kind of strange to see trends repeat like they do, but they do. I'm not planning on holding on to anything today in the hopes that it's going to come back around in 20, 30 years. No, just not happening in my closet. It's not worth the space and the mental stress. What about sentimental items? Have you looked at your kids' collection of artwork recently? Have you looked at the stuff that you've saved from your childhood? Have you looked at the stuff that a loved one that passed away gave to you? Sometimes we need to keep those things because we're not ready to go through them yet. And that's okay. But keep in mind, you only want to keep that confined to a small area, whatever bin you set aside for that. But you might be able to go through it and get rid of some of that stuff now. Maybe enough time has passed. Maybe you realize that you can take a picture of something and it'll still preserve the memory. Maybe you can repurpose something. It all depends. Think about things like that. Now is the time to do it before you're actively moving next week. Now's the time to think about, hey, if I go through things now, if I put the decluttering effort and the planning in beforehand, I can save my money because you're not paying for a mover to do it, or you're not paying for as big of a rental truck or a pod or what have you. I can save my labor, whether it's you physically moving it or hiring people. I can save time. You're now not having to pack it or unpack it. You're just moving it once to get rid of it. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can think about with those. Another thing, start thinking about taking an inventory of what you have, like a physical inventory. This way you know what you have. You have a list of your electronics in your house, in case you need to replace them. You can know what you have to pack, pay attention to what you have that the mover's moving or the pod moving or you're moving. Think about what you have as far as spaces to pack. Like, for instance, a suitcase. Normally for suitcases, we go on vacation with them or go on a trip. Work, family, what have you. We put clothes in there. And moving, don't put clothes in there. Clothes can be used for so many other things. Instead, why not put the books in there that we just talked about are super heavy? This way, you can roll it along as opposed to having to carry it. Think smarter about things like that. It makes way more sense to put heavy objects in a suitcase than it does to put clothes. Take your clothes and help line the bottom, or towels even, and line the bottom of boxes and the top of boxes and the nooks and crannies of boxes. It's not wasted space. You're actually protecting things that are in there. You might be able to cut back on how much paper you have to use to wrap things or bubble wrap, because you want to make sure you protect your fragile things. But clothes also have a lot of give. Towels, blankets, all of that can work for those type things too. Also, you don't have to pack everything in a piece of furniture. If you already have a relatively light cabinet that's easy to move, don't unpack it. Make sure that the drawers aren't opening and things won't fall out, but don't unpack it. A dresser, you might want to remove some of the things because that can be really heavy, but you can also substitute a pillow in there. So pillows typically are lighter than a drawer full of clothes. So maybe think of things like that. Start thinking about looking for boxes on Facebook Marketplace. You can find a whole bunch of free stuff there. People are trying to get rid of their specialty boxes and just regular boxes. It's perfect to get rid of those type things. When I moved last, that's how I found a lot of boxes. Oh my goodness. And specialty ones at that. I actually found all my wardrobe boxes through that. And then I returned the favor. Once I moved, I put it on Facebook Marketplace to give away for free. If it wasn't in good shape, then yes, recycle it. But if it was in good, decent enough shape that you could totally use it again, unless you're planning on moving or you have an immediate family member moving pretty soon, get rid of it. You can find it again. It's just helping a neighbor out. You also got helped in the process. Just paying it forward, if you will. When you're boxing your stuff, think about labeling. This way you know what is in things. You're going to want to start packing sooner rather than later, especially as you're decluttering, because usually you start with decluttering things that we don't reach for very often, like that sentimental stuff, what we just talked about. Start packing that. Is it likely you're going to reach for that between now and 2 months from now when you actually move? Probably not. Thinking about your moving in the next couple of years, even better, start looking at that stuff now. Obviously, you don't have to pack it, but once you have it packed, I recommend labeling it. Label your boxes. That's going to be your best friend, and make sure it has the appropriate labeling. So what I like to do is to actually color code the rooms that I will be moving into and know what kind of stuff I want to go to each room. And if it doesn't necessarily have a room, like maybe it's all decor in the box and you don't know exactly where you're going to put it, have a room designated for that stuff. For me, it was kind of my office space. I knew I was not going to set up my office space immediately, but I sure as heck was not going to put it in my bedroom. Did not make sense to go there. That was something I was going to use right away. So label it with color-coded room. So yellow tends to be my kitchen color. Blue, bathroom. Green, living room, and continue it on. But those are some of the most common colors I use on a regular basis. I think the last time I moved, I put bathroom all as one category because I had 2 bathrooms, but it really didn't matter where it ended up because I had a feeling I was gonna be shuffling things around anyways. So I just put it all together as bathroom. And then I put the stuff in the guest bathroom and then I could move it, what I needed, into mine. I also label priority of it. A, B, C. A is high, B is medium, C is low. This way, I know what order to unpack things in. If I am unpacking a whole bunch of C boxes, that makes absolutely no sense. I also write down the stuff that's in it because you want to know what's in your box. I try to take notes on the box itself, but I also have a paper that I will fill out with box 1 is blah, blah, blah. Or actually what I started doing was if it was a very obvious type of box, for instance, say it was pet pads formerly in it, and it's very clearly labeled as that. I'll say the pet pad box. I have used boxes from bars and stuff like that obviously have alcohol branding on it. So I will say Bud Light box, etc. You know, it helps me understand, okay, I'm looking for this branded box that is in the kitchen stuff. Perfect. That'll help me. Helps narrow it down. And while you're thinking about boxes, think about the things you're gonna need as your first day, first few minutes in the new place. Usually that includes toilet paper, paper towels, some cleaning supplies, some hand soap, those type things. But also it's gonna move into the first night in the new house. So do you have a plan for dinner? I'm hoping you don't think you're gonna do a lot of cooking that day because moving days are exhausting. But this way you have a plan, know what you need first available for the first morning, that kind of stuff. Gives you some time to get settled. I will include a link in the description to a digital product that I have made that is actually a printable moving management kind of planner. It is one that I have used for many of my moves, and when I didn't use that to the fullest extent, I felt more stressed out. So this definitely helped. I also put it in a binder that was pink and so stood out, and it became my move management binder. My family laughed at me, but this is where my supplies stayed. This is where my paperwork stayed. I put sheet protectors in there, and that's where I put my paperwork and my contracts and all the stuff that I would need related to the move in there. I also have, checklists of services that need to be discontinued or connected at the new place, depending on what's going on, or just transferred. So you can start making lists if you've done that. I have a change of address list because as you're getting mail this far out, now's a good time to start writing this down. You can start thinking about like bank accounts and stuff like that too. More time you give yourself, the less time and stress it'll be on the other end. I hope these tips were helpful to give you an idea that moving doesn't have to be as stressful as many of us make it. You have to start early and to plan ahead, but it can be something that is fairly organized. But once again, it's never without entire stress. It's just you have a lot of more control than you think you do. By getting rid of things and decluttering things you don't use, by starting early, by making a plan, by being smart with what you have to pack, all of this stuff can help you out. So if you're enjoying this type of content, please hit the like and subscribe button below so I can continue making more of it and know what you like to listen to. As always, this channel's goal is to help you create simple, optimized systems for your everyday life. Bye now.